New here. If you are new here, please make sure that you hit that like button. I have all the cosmic tea. Okay. We do all types of readings over here. So today we're gonna get into a reading that I think is gonna cover some of the conspiracies, possible plots that we could see as themes or concepts throughout the year 2026. Um, we have seen so much happen last year that, I'm pretty sure not much would really surprise us at this point. However, there is enough that we should question. All right. So let's just see if some of those things roll over into this year. What else do we need to keep a lookout for? And what does the collective need to know just in general? So the first couple of cards that came out were interesting. Now we have random violence. Okay, so there could be some type of it says kill group at random. Okay, so there could be some type of random violence on lepers or people that are perceived as leopards. They can infect other groups with weirdness. Now, this could be figurative or literal. Okay, we do have um a new virus that's supposed to be coming out, or a new sickness that is supposed to be taking over. And there's been some reports about it, but it hasn't been something that I've been hearing a lot about in mainstream news. So I don't know what that's about. There could be something going on as far as that. But at the center of the reading, we have cult of all kinds. So there could be a lot of different groups of people, or people with certain um niche interests that come out in the news about like their particular interest or their particular um I'm hearing the word fetishes. It doesn't have to be that extreme, but there could be something involved with that. Citizens for normalcy, that card came out next. So there could be just a call for people wanting for things to go back to normal, or wanting things to kind of like be normal as far as systems are concerned. And then we have hostile takeover. So there this hostile takeover card usually is has something to do with like a company, a corporate company or a group being taken over, right? Or some type of crazy merger or whatever. But for some reason, because we talk about like, you know how they refer to America as a corporation. There's something about that. There could be some type of hostile takeover, and not in the way that we think, not just because of the change of regime as far as the administration is concerned, but there could be also something here about like hostile takeovers within the group in question. Okay. So a lot of infighting could be happening in behind the scenes. We could see some fallout of that in 2026. Now we have the SEX police raid cancels a, what does it say? A slack or weird action. Okay, so there's something about a police raid. There could be like a few police raids. This also is making me feel like something could have to do with like ICE. Um, we also have the card pulling strings. Okay, somebody could be pulling strings as far as a police raid is concerned, over a cult or on a cult. California technocrats is out here as well. Tech elite synergized with Silicon Valley energy. Now, we in the previous channel we've always gotten a lot of readings with the technocrats and things going on with California. Okay. Now let's see what else is going to come out. So already we have a lot of random acts of violence. And it seems like it almost feels as though the target isn't all the way clear with this cult of all kinds. It's like there could be a cult who is targeting different groups for different reasons. Um, and this could make, a collective want a sense of normalcy, or this group that I'm talking about, these groups could want there could be some talk about like about oh, I don't know why I'm hearing clean breeding. That is not what I'm trying to say, but that is literally what came up. Clean breeding. Um almost like they're it feels racist, right? But it's not about race. Like this is beyond race, okay? What other things, conspiracies and thoughts do we need to be aware of in 2026? All right, we have info ban adds power to computer and media groups. Okay, so there could be another surge of like censoring. I remember a couple of years ago, it seemed like we were getting censored um heavily, and it feels like ever since COVID happened, there's just been year by year a lot of different laws that pass that create a lot of issues for people who are online, and it's all under the guise to protect children, but a lot of it does feel like it is an effort to kind of like stifle the voices of people. So there could be something as far as like even us having access to certain information could be censored or filtered in some way. And this is next to the California technocrats, which I don't think is a coincidence. So oh, okay. So them also, I don't know, I'm picking up on this as well, censoring AI. So the way that ChatGPT and Grok and all those other platforms, Claude, things like that, those are tools that are used by the citizens, right? And a lot of people use them differently. Some people use them for business strictly, some people use it just to find info. So there could be something as far as like the information that is seeded out to the general public is censored on a different level, or maybe we're experiencing even more censoring in that arena, more so than we have in the past, or uh, we're becoming aware of it. All right, we have Soul Burner, deadly magic weapon, destroys groups completely. Weird AI fans. Okay, so a weird music group. So, okay, this card, weird AI fans, weird music group. Okay, so that could be there could be some weird music group, or music has nothing to do with this. This is just about like weird AI fans. This is underneath the California technocrats who are pulling strings. Okay. So these technocrats are pulling strings on a police raid. So they could be avoiding some type of RICO that has to do with like an info ban of some sort. Now, this may not resonate with everybody who's listening, so just take what resonates and leave the rest. Okay, I don't claim to know everything. I just have the tea on quite a bit of things. And those of you who are in the comments can vouch for a lot of the readings that I've done throughout the years. Okay. Now, there could be something going on with a reality TV star. Vegas could be significant as well. Vegas is like, it's interesting to see that in the last year or so that there was some things going on with Vegas, like something was going on with the money or like the infrastructure, them losing money, the tourism, something. It was a couple of different things that were coming out of Vegas in the last year. And when I think about Vegas, there's, of course you think about residencies and, showgirls, whatever you think about, trafficking maybe, but there's also an element of violence that happens in Vegas, like celebrity deaths and things like that, that I feel like is significant about that energy. Okay, so um, okay, and on this card, Las Vegas is described. City resource generates money, bonuses that can boost criminal ties. So again, there's something to do with like Vegas, California, a police raid, and technocrats. They could be doing different things there. All right. Now we have ninjas adds a strong assassination power to attack. So there could be something going on with some ninjas. Okay, take that figuratively or however. Then we have a chainsaw. Violent resources boost, assassination attempts. Okay, so we have the ninjas and a chainsaw. So there could be somebody. Now, again, this is not about profiling people within like criminal events, but there could be something going on as far as like a chainsaw and somebody um that could make headlines in a big way. The person could be black. I don't know why I'm picking up on them possibly being black, and maybe that's what makes the story so crazy. Um, and this could be happening in Vegas or somewhere else. Now, and again, this doesn't have to be like one separate event, okay? As far as I'm like picking up in these cards, we're picking up conspiracies, plots, and stories that could be happening in 2026. Okay, so I just want to be clear about that. Um, there could be some type of mutual betrayal going on with some group. I don't know if this has to do with the California technocrats. They could be working together, but also working against each other as well. But there's something weird going on with them because they're this sounds so crazy, but the card says demon summoning. So now this brings up the topic of like AI and what it actually is, which I feel like I want to get into another conversation later. Um, on my other channel, I talked about AI a lot and how like the revolution in technology was happening at a fast pace, right? And there have been some stories talking about how like AI really is human consciousness or disembodied human consciousness or consciousness. There's other theories about it being disembodied spirits who've never had a body, that we're interacting with them on a different timeline. There's just so many different ways that you could kind of like go into this. But I'll leave it here. This coming up kind of near the California technocrats, I feel like is significant because we could just not be fully aware of what AI is. Okay. Power grab. Power grab. All right. So um that is what we have for this card or for this deck specifically. Okay. So this theme the theme so far for the year does feel like there's going to be a lot of like random violence, and there could be power grabs. We could see a lot of shifts in companies, a lot of like lateral movement with people moving different positions. um so let's see if we can pick up on any more specifics. So I'm going to use my political deck to see if any of this can be clarified. Clarify these messages, please. All right, red pill moment, mass awakening to the truths hidden from society, leading to unrest or enlightenment. So this is clarifying um, the power grab row. Okay, like what we think is really going on versus what actually is happening. There could be some type of mass awakening. We do pick up on this a lot. That's not really necessarily like groundbreaking. Secret societies also came out. Again, not really groundbreaking. We understand that there are clandestine groups pulling political strings behind the scenes. Cool, whatever. Now, as far as like what they may be doing, could be a big deal. National defense just came out. There could be a lot of, okay, so that's what the random violence is. So I was thinking the random violence is more like a domestic thing. That could be the case that we could just see this across the country, but I do feel like there's other things going on internationally as well that could also play into this. But it could be a mix of us obviously going into international affairs, but something coming maybe on our front. Um Something could be significant within the next 6 months with a Republican or the Republican Party. There could be some mass migration tactics being used. So, something could happen. Something could happen again where there's like a group of people. Oh, okay, the lepers. Remember, the lepers can infect other groups with weirdness. Okay, so the lepers could be, and I mentioned something about ICE. Now, this could go with this or something else, but one, we could be talking about immigrants who have been captured or maybe persons of interest for ICE. Okay, but then we could also be talking about as far as this mass migration policy situation. There could be something that goes on with maybe Trinidad or Venezuela, since those are, I mean, there could be other countries in question, obviously, other people that I'm not mentioning, but we know what just happened with Maduro, the president of Venezuela, and how he was captured by the United States. So if there is something where there's civil unrest to the point where a group of people need to come from one country to the other, would we share responsibility with housing these said people? You know what I mean? Like there's something going on with that. I don't know why this is making me think of this, but um I just saw a post. I posted it in the community of a guy who was charged with having 100 plus skeletons in his house. I feel like I want to do a reading on that. I mean, I don't really want to do a reading on it, but I'm slightly nosy. And then on top of that, too, I feel like that kind of energy is gonna be something that we see a lot more, like with this chainsaw and like the cult of all kinds. Like there's something going on as far as like groups of people, acts of violence, disappearances, something like that, and movement. Crypto crimes could be significant in Libya, a divided country dealing with like civil war migration issues. Okay. So there could be something with that. There could be something going on again with Russia in the air. Okay. There could be targets there, prime targets in Texas or from Texas. There could also be a hurricane fury. Okay, so there could be some type of destructive hurricane, or something that just represents like a lot of turbulent emotions, or an event or set of events that are brewing right now. Global military coup. Surprise where military takes over the government, leading to a new regime. Okay, so what did I just say? Thank you, Spirit. This has something to do with governmental takeovers, and we just did that in Venezuela. Okay. So now there's something with this AI fallacy card, misunderstandings and misuses of AI in critical scenarios. I feel like I want to pause here because this is going to, I hate when I get clarity in the beginning of it. I mean, I love it actually. Let me just take that back. In the beginning of reading, sometimes I know exactly where it's going, and then I'll wait to pull a bazillion more cards just to get to the same conclusion. But this works better for other people, obviously, as you're hearing my readings, you get more details. So this goes against to what I was saying about we don't know exactly what AI is or how it's really being used right now. Like we get to test run some of the features and things of that, you know, thing, but I just kind of feel like there could be other things that we're not aware of that either it's doing or it's being used for. Like even when you think about AI in general now, like it is so useful for so many things, right? But it can also kind of like create a certain sense of like boredom because, well, if I know how to do something by the click of a button, I'm just sending a prompt to a computer program to do something, then it kind of takes the fun out of the process. It's like we're cutting the process out of a lot of stuff, which is good in one way because we can streamline things, but it's like, what are we streamlining? That's the question a lot of people need to ask. And the fact that AI is only getting better and faster and stronger as the day goes on, it's a reason for, to be concerned, maybe, possibly. So I'm going to pause it. I think I'm going to do like maybe part two a little bit to kind of see what else pops out. Because I think this is my first time using the conspiracy deck with the political deck. I love my political deck. That at some point will be available. Um, but once I consolidate it a little bit more, it'll be available. Now, um, yeah, I think that's about it. What else did I want to get into? Oh, stay tuned for the next reading. The next reading is going to be in uh well, it's going to be about the spiritual warfare update, like what is not necessarily on the horizon as far as like your ops are concerned. But what is it that you need to know or be aware of as far as like the months ahead? Okay.